All right, told you about gold here at record highs, and it is telling us something. Usually it would tell us that the dollar is in real trouble. I think, and I am guessing at this now, but I think what this is telling us is that the whole world, the whole system is in trouble. And let me give you an example. I'm gonna talk to you about something to try to make sense of it here, but I don't have a good answer because we're not having these conversations. I have told you for almost 20 years when it comes to AI, we must have these conversations now because the world is going to change overnight, and we are at that point. We are at the point of singularity where there is no turning back, and we haven't had these conversations. Do you want to win the AI war? I will tell you, we cannot lose it. But to win it, we may have to sacrifice so much on the altar of liberty that I don't want to fight it. So what do we do? Let me explain. Something has shifted in the world, and most people cannot feel it yet. But if you're paying attention, you understand there is something on the horizon. One day soon, we're going to wake up and we're going to realize, I think we crossed a line here. Quietly, silently, while no one was paying attention, everything changed. Over the past few days, while the world has been paying attention to what is going on in Israel and the Middle East, there's a couple of other really important headlines that have caught my attention. And at first, they all seemed unrelated, just random stories from around the world. But when you look closer, and this is what I think I do best, I take things that are seemingly unrelated and say, wait a minute, I think they all fit into this category. So let me give you some threads here. First thread is China. Beijing just tightened its grip on rare earth elements. These are the minerals that make absolutely everything possible. Your smartphone, your electric car, your missile defense system, your refrigerator. Everything depends on these rare earth minerals. China, because of our inaction and stupid policies over the last couple of decades, control now 80% of the world's supply chain. That cannot stand. Now what they're doing is they're choking it off. They are now closing it up, and they are threatening the West. No more rare earth minerals. If that happens, we cannot defend ourselves. Do we have rare earth minerals? Yeah, we have lots of them, but we're not mining them. It will take a decade to start mining them up in Alaska, where they mainly are. That's why Donald Trump was saying we need Greenland. That's what he was saying, rare earth minerals, because they're already mining them there, and we cannot lose them. Now, they're choking it off, and rare earth stocks exploded overnight, because whoever controls those minerals controls the future. Now, here's the second thread, the Pentagon. Out of nowhere, they made a $1 billion emergency order for those same rare earth minerals. That's not normal. That's not paperwork. That is the sound of a military quietly preparing for something, a shortage, possibly in a storm. Like I said, we are, because of what Biden did in Ukraine, we are wholly unprepared for any kind of military action. We don't have the materials. And at the same time, everything is changing to high tech. We don't have the rare earth minerals and the chips now to make our guided missile systems. The third thread, JP Morgan Chase, one of the most powerful institutions on the planet, just announced this week a $1.5 trillion investment plan in what they called security and resilience. That's not going to mom and pop shops. That's not going to community loans. That money is being funneled straight into AI, defense manufacturing, and critical minerals. It's as if the Pentagon and Wall Street just linked arms and decided to build a fortress economy together. Then came the fourth thread. Nobody paid attention to this one. In Europe, the Dutch government just seized control of the Chinese-owned chip maker on their own soil. They invoked emergency powers and nationalized the company to stop the Chinese influence over the semiconductor industry. That's not good. 4 stories, 4 continents, 4 quiet tremors in the ground. When you weave them all together, that's when you begin to understand what all of this means. So let me try to do that. The old world, as we know it, is dying. The world of free markets, the world of open trade, individual enterprise, the world that lifted billions out of poverty is being replaced now, slowly but surely, by something new. And this one is being done in the name of security. And I don't have an answer for this. This is why we must pay attention and talk about it now. Corporations now are aligning with state power. Before, we had the tech industry aligning itself with the government to control speech. This is the government aligning themselves with tech, rare earth minerals, etc., to be able to win the AI war. All of this is a single unspoken motive, and that is the race to dominate artificial intelligence. This is the new arms race. This is the new Manhattan Project, the new nuclear weapon, except this is 1,000,000 times more enslaving than nuclear weapons could ever hope to be. Whoever masters this first, whoever gets to AI and AGI first, will control the economies, the information, even your thought itself. Every rare earth mineral, every chip, every line of code, they're all ingredients in that same contest. And the nations are moving fast. They're hoarding materials now. We're beginning to seize companies. They're building walled-off supply chains. This is happening on their side and our side. And the free market in this particular place is no longer free. It's being drafted into a digital Cold War. Now, that sounds bad, but now let me tell you the danger that nobody seems to get. When nations go to war, even an economic war, freedom always becomes a casualty. We tell ourselves we're fighting for liberty, and we are, because we don't want to live in a society like China, right? I don't. But when survival's on the line, governments tighten control for our own good. They regulate, they ration, they censor. And one day you look up and you realize the line between democracy and technocracy is gone. If the West wants to win this AI war, and we must, then we have to have a conversation. Why are we even fighting this war? Because if in winning it we become China, why not let China just win? If we adopt the same top-down control, the same surveillance, the same merger of government and corporate power, then what did we actually win? Didn't we just trade one master for another? The old global system, free enterprise, open markets, individual liberty, it is being rewritten in real time. And the threads are now all coming together, and they're weaving a new tapestry. I don't know what the tapestry looks like. I can guess at what that tapestry looks like, and I don't like it. Will it be woven from freedom, or will it be woven from fear? If we lose sight of who we are, look, our global leadership, it's already lost sight for who we are. They don't care. They don't care. None of them care. They'll get to this global dominance over the individual one way or another in their book. You must care. You must stand for freedom. You must be at the head of having this conversation. Because if we lose sight of who we are, this tapestry is going to be strong, efficient, and unbreakable, but it will not be free. And someday, historians are going to look back at this moment and they're going to, what happened? They're going to see these quiet headlines, these invisible decisions that are being made right now, and they'll realize this is when the new world began. They will be able to look at this point and say, this was it. Why didn't people see it? The answer to that is obvious. We're overwhelmed with everything that we have to do, everything we're looking at. This has been a very well-planned takeover of freedom. You have to ask yourself, when the weaving is done, whose pattern will we be living in? Because that's what is coming. There's a story in the show prep today that I really want you to read. I'm going to talk to you about it here in a second. Western executives who visit China are coming back terrified. You don't have any idea how far China is ahead of us. And you can say, well, I don't want to be China. Well, you will be China, and China will be controlling you if we don't push back. But how do we push back without becoming China? So let me give you this story. Western executives visit China who are coming back terrified. Quote, "It's the most humbling thing I've ever seen," said Ford's chief executive about his recent trip to China. After visiting a string of factories, Jim Farley was left astonished by technical innovations being packed into Chinese cars, from self-driving software to facial recognition. Their cost and quality of their vehicles is far superior to that on which I see in the West. We are in a global competition with China, and it's not just EVs. If we lose this, listen carefully, there is no future at Ford. If we lose this, there is no future at Ford. Another executive, this one from the EU, says, "I can take you to factories in China now where you'll basically be alongside a big conveyor belt and the machines come out on the floor and begin to assemble parts. You're walking alongside this conveyor, and after about 800 meters, a truck drives out. And there are no people involved." Other executives describe a vast dark factory where robots do so much of the work alone that there's no need to even turn on lights for humans. "We visited a dark factory producing some astronomical numbers of cell phones. The process is so heavily automated that there were no workers on the manufacturing side, just a small number who were there to ensure the plant was working. You get this sense of change where China's competitiveness has gone from being about government subsidies and low wages to a tremendous number of highly skilled, educated engineers who are innovating like mad. Between 2014 and 2024, the number of industrial robots deployed in the country rocketed from 189,000 to more than 2 million. It is... Just let me give you this. Last year, China added 295,000 robots. Germany added 27,000. The U.S., 34,000. The U.K., 2,500. The U.K. is over. It's just absolutely over. It boasts 567 robots for every 10,000 manufacturing workers, 449 in Germany for every 10,000, and 307 for the U.S. So I'm not preaching this because this is, good for the country. It's bad for workers. It's bad for workers. But China is doing it for a couple of things. First of all, their policy is known, I can't pronounce it in Chinese, but it translates to replacing humans with machines. In China, they don't need to have a Patriot Act, a really super great thing for auto workers. No, replacing humans with machines is the name of their policy, okay? And it's happening everywhere. They can develop and execute models in probably half the time that most European car makers can make. And they're doing it partially because they see the decline in their birth rates. And they know we're not going to have the workers to be able to do this. But what's disturbing is all of these robotics are needing power. They also need AI. So they are building these gigantic server farms, which we are still breaking ground on. They're building them. They're building new power plants. One power plant, coal-fired power plant, every week. And I think 40, can you look this up, Stu? I think it's 40 nuclear power plants a year. We're not building anything. We're not building anything. We're breaking ground on it. Trump has already said he's cutting all of the regulations, but we're still far, far behind. And we are getting close to the point where they win, we lose. Again, I don't know what to do about it, except have a conversation about it. Because I've read the conversations from the left. I've read the conversations from the World Economic Forum. And they don't care. They will take you and literally put you in a drugged state and put you online, and you're just going to play video games your whole life. That is honestly their plan for a large number of people in the West that will just be no longer usable. Undesirables. Well, I don't like those labels.